Hello everybody and welcome to another Versus Video Deck Tech. I am Chris VanMeter along with...
Hello. I'm Braun-Duin.
That Crystal, man. Stay
Yeah.
away from it. Alright, so we're playing with new Born of the Gods cards.
Yep.
Pre-releases this weekend, and the following weekend we will be in Nashville battling with the new cards. And I'm starting here with a deck that I'm already familiar with, Green Red Monsters. I think we get a couple awesome upgrades for the deck. For starters, we get Fanatic of Xenagos, which is a very awesome 3-drop that utilizes the new Tribute mechanic. So how Tribute works is, as it enters the battlefield, you can choose an opponent, and they get to choose whether or not it comes into play with X number of +1/+1 counters on it. And if they choose to not put the counters on it, then it gets an ability. So for this one in particular is 1 green and a red for a 3/3 with trample, and if they decide to not give it a +1/+1 counter, it gets +1/+1 in haste till end of turn. So I think it's just very, very good. So I either get a Lockstone Smiter with trample or a Lockstone Smiter with trample and haste that becomes a 3/3 after it gets to attack.
Right.
So I think it's very good. And along with Elvish Mystic, it gives me a very powerful turn 2 play where we get to put our opponent in a position where they are just pretty much damned if they do, damned if they don't. On top of that, we get Xenagos, God of Revels. So we get to play with the Planeswalker and with the God. Hopefully they don't have an identity crisis when I get them both in play at the same time. But I'm sure it'll make my opponent go insane.
Yeah, and actually, that actually brings up a good point, and I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but you can actually have both Xenagos the Planeswalker and Xenagos the God in play at the same time.
Correct.
Even though both are, like, in some level, like, legendary permanents, the Planeswalkers are not actually legendary, they just have a Planeswalker uniqueness rule.
Correct.
So the way that works is you can't have 2 Planeswalkers with the same name in play, which actually spans across, like, you can't have Architect of Thought and Memory Adept in play at the same time because they're both Jace.
Correct. Well, they have to have the Planeswalker super type. So if you notice on Xenagos, it says Planeswalker Xenagos. On Xenagos, God of the Rebels, it's not a Planeswalker.
It's a creature enchantment.
It's a creature enchantment, and it's a legendary creature enchantment. So they can hang out together. So I mean, what are you gonna do?
It's kind of like
sometimes you can be your own best friend.
Yeah, it's kind of like you know the movie Jumper or whatever. Just got like or whatever that Looper's the movie. Yeah, you got like Xenagos hanging out with his like 40-year-old self. I don't know.
So Xenagos is very powerful. The fact that it adds both red and green devotion works very well with Domri Raid and Xenagos, his other self, the Planeswalker. So it allows us to actually turn on Xenagos when we need to. But that's not why I'm excited to play with the card. He has a very awesome secondary ability, and in fact it's one of the few gods that you're able to take advantage of this ability the moment that it actually enters play.
Yep.
So it's going to trigger on your combat step after you cast it, and it gives one of your creatures +X and haste until end of turn, where X is the power of that creature. So my Stormbreath Dragon can be an 8/8, Polykranos is a 10/10. You can even just like play a Mutavault, activate it, and then target it with Xenagos to make it a 4/4 so you can attack. And it's just very, very powerful. Works well with cards like Fanatic of Xenagos, who already has Trample, Gorklan Rampager that gives the creature trample, and the Blood half of Flesh Blood, you can just fireball somebody to the face with a double power creature.
Yeah, you can do something like play a Xenagos on turn 5. On turn 6 you can cast Polykranos, attack for 10, then deal 10 damage to your opponent.
Pretty nice.
What life total do people start at? Is it 20? I don't actually know.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's 20 right there.
As for the rest of the deck, it's just a very just normal monster shell. Mystic, Caryatid, couple Scavenging Oozes, Dragon, Polykranos, Rampager, some Mizium Mortars, and the awesome Planeswalkers that we have. I really like not being actual like devotion based, which lets us play Mutavault over Nykthos, because I would much rather just throw threats at my opponent than trying to be cute generating a bunch of mana so that they can counter my spell or Supreme Verdict on my guys or Thoughtseize my key card away. So I definitely like this type of green-red deck over the devotion-based green-red deck.
Yep.
But to be honest, Xenagos is so powerful that it might be worthwhile to be jamming Burning Tramissaries. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to finding out this week. So that's the main deck. Not too much new stuff, but I do feel like Fnatic is better than Boon Satyr, and
Agreed.
The Xenagos God is a very welcome addition to the deck, and I'm excited to see how it plays with the rest of the cards. But let's go ahead and take a look at the sideboard and see what options we get there, because we do get a new card to play in our sideboard.
Ooh.
Hello everybody, we're looking at the sideboard for the Green Red Monsters deck. And to start out with, we get our new card from Born of the Gods, Unravel the Aether, which as you can see here, it's 1 and a green, it's an instant, and it is Deglamor. So it does exactly the same thing that Deglamor did from Morningtide. You choose a target artifact or enchantment, and its owner shuffles it into its library. So it used to be used by the Jund decks back in the days of old against like Wormcoil Engine.
Yep, that was the big tech there.
But now we can hit like Thassa. We can also hit cards like Detention Sphere. You can hit Heliod. You can hit Ephera. You can hit Spear of Heliod.
Can you hit Blind Obedience with it too?
You can hit Blind Obedience with it. So just all these different targets that we can hit with the card. And I just think it's just very good. I feel like it's probably better than Destructive Revelry in the deck. Because Thassa can be a problem for this deck in the blue match. And it also hits Bident too, so I'm definitely excited to try it out.
I will say that the name makes me think that it's like a bounce spell.
Yeah, that's true.
It does. Every time I hear Unravel the Aether, I'm like, what blue card is that? I forgot. Yeah. I don't think I saw
isn't
one
that like
spoiler.
Isn't that from like World Wake, where we each bounce something that we control back to our hand?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. But it is exactly Deglamor. Along the same lines, we do have 4 Mistcutter Hydra, just like before. I feel like it's one of, if not the best sideboard card in Standard. Just try and punish the Supreme Verdict decks. It also works very well with the new God Xenagos.
Indeed.
Since they can't counter it, they can't Azorius Charm it, and it's going to be real big when it gets to attack.
It also it's also pretty nifty with a card that's not in CVM's deck but could be, which is Colonian Hydra. So you can use the new Xenagos to make your Colonian Hydra hasty and big, and that also doubles up your Mistcutter Hydras too. So
man. If I'm attacking with a Colonian Hydra and a Mistcutter Hydra, probably going to end up losing the game. But
you got to get a Polycranos in there too, just so your opponents just Hydra Tribal.
Just make them real big.
Yep.
Hydra Tribal. Where's my Cavern of Souls?
Cavern on Hydra.
In the middle here, we got some more Planeswalkers. 3rd Xenagos, Garruk, and 2 Chandra. They're all just very good against the Black Devotion decks and the Sphinx's Revelation decks.
Yep.
So that's why you want them. Chandra is also very good against any of the like Soldier of the Pantheon aggressive decks. They just play a million 1 toughness creatures, and Chandra allows you to punish them with some repeatable removal. We do get a Plummet, a Mizzium Mortars, and 2 Shock. So the reason we have these is I want the 4th Mizzium Mortars to be able to come in to kill cards like Archangel of Thune, which is starting to ramp up in popularity right now. But it's also very good against like opposing Stormbreath Dragons. It kills Nightveil Spectre, can kill Packrat, and it can also kill like Precinct Captain, or just like these cards that are pretty troublesome that we want to get off of the board before opponents can take advantage of them. We do have 2 Shocks, which are good against any of the smaller aggressive decks, as well as I think the Shock is also fairly decent against Mono Blue Devotion, since Tidebinder Mage can be such a good card against this deck. And then we have a Plummet as a way to kill like Desecration Demons and Nightveil Spectres, and it also doubles up on killing Archangel of Thune, thankfully. So yeah, it gives me some answers to these troublesome
real
cards.
Excited about the sideboard. A lot of answers to Gods and Archangel of Thune and Detention Sphere. Man, that's pretty exciting stuff here you got. Yeah.
Well, when you play good cards, people are going to have good answers.
Yep.
So this is the sideboard for the Devotion deck, the Green Red Monsters deck. And I'm ready to battle with some of these new cards and see just how powerful they can be. Brimaz is awesome. Xenagos is awesome. Let's go ahead and go head to head.
All right, let's do it.